This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for Heart Mojo with Melinda Smith. Now, for those of you who are listening today, we're posting this a little bit later than we normally do because we've run into roadblocks this past week. That's a good way of putting it.
I like it.
Yeah. You know, we plan a journey and something happens, but that's okay, because if we look around us and we reach out to the people around us, we can find ways to get through those roadblocks. And Melinda, your guest is sort of helping you and others that you know who have hit some roadblocks.
That's true.
Help you out. So tell us about her.
Well, my guest today is Patty Sulik. She owns a business called 8 Minutes to Wellness. And it's a very interesting business. I don't want to jump straight into it because I want her to talk a little bit about her own health journey, her family's health journey, and that's what led her to do what she's doing today. So, Patty, welcome. And tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
All right, so I'm a mom, and I have two daughters. One's 17 and one's 19 now. And when my youngest was 12, she had been suffering with major intestinal issues for about 4 years. I was on a journey to find something to help her. I tried anything and everything, and I kept coming up with, we were talking about roadblocks today, coming up with lots of roadblocks. So I reached out to a family friend who is a nutritionist, and she started helping us through blood work. She did some blood work for me, and I got my daughter on some vitamins. And vitamins are wonderful, but in my experience, they take a while to work. So that is why I did not go down that route first. So fast forward a little bit, she told us about this amazing technology that was coming out of Germany, and that she really wanted me to get my daughter on it and try it. So I did. I tried it for 2 weeks with her. You're supposed to be on it twice a day for 8 minutes. And over her Christmas break, I was able to take her somewhere to try it twice a day for 8 minutes. I had started seeing improvements in my daughter that I hadn't seen in 4 years, just being on this device. So yeah, and it, like, literally you lay on this gray mat and she started improving. Very weird, very like, okay, this is very strange. But of course I wanted one then. Well, they're not cheap. So I asked my husband to get us one, and his immediate reaction was no. So yeah, he took 3 months to research it. He couldn't find anything, any reason not to get it. So 3 months later, he told me, we're going to go ahead and get that. And my daughter just started improving by laying on this mat twice a day for 8 minutes. It was the craziest thing ever. So I'm internally grateful. And so yeah, so that's my story.
So did you just use the mat, or did you do the supplements as well? Was it?
Oh no, we did the supplements as well. So
supplements as well. So how long did it take before did she have this problem her whole life for the most part?
No, so she had something going on. I took her to the doctor and she got on some medication, and I don't know if that started it, or I don't know what started it, but it seemed to have started pretty much overnight. And she started getting all these intestinal issues, and it just, like a lot of things, it just started snowballing. You know, one thing happened, then another thing happened, and I call it the domino effect. So it happened with me as well. I was in a car accident, and I have a slip disc and a torn disc in my neck. So I started getting major headaches, and my arms started tingling. And, you know, who knew that your arm tingling would have anything to do with your neck? But all these things just kept happening to me. And I was supposed to have surgery, and that was the last thing I wanted. So I got on this mat as well, and my stuff started disappearing as well. So not only did it give me my daughter back, but it also gave me my life back as well. So
you had to buy a different mat for yourself. Is that it?
Oh no, we use the same mat.
Oh, I thought you said you bought yourself a mat. Okay.
Oh
okay.
no.
Oh no, she froze.
She froze. Okay, well, maybe she can still hear us.
Oh no. One more
There she is.
roadblock in our, you froze for a
Yeah,
minute.
Oh, I
absolutely.
froze?
Yeah.
Oh, my connection's unstable here, I guess. Wonderful. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
We
You're
can
doing
hear you and you're
fine.
moving.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
So somebody else in your family also had issues. Was it your mother?
Yes. So this was more recently. My mom actually went to the hospital for major lung issues. And my mom is not one to stay in the hospital. So she signed herself out, came home, and it was up to me to help her get better. So through vitamins and this device, we were able to get her over these major lung infection that she had.
So this device, hopefully I say this correctly, is pulsed electromagnetic field. That's what it does,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So can you tell people what it's, well, as best as you can, what it's doing in the body, that it's going to help heal different ailments?
Sure. So it basically increases your blood flow and your oxygen, which allows your body to heal itself. That's the only thing this thing is doing. It's giving you basically what you would feel if you laid outside. Well, most people feel nothing. Some people feel a little tingling on it. I felt nothing. Some people feel a little warmth. But basically, it's the same signal that is coming out of the earth, and it allows your body needs energy. And I didn't realize this. Everybody knows you need to exercise and you need to have good nutrition, but you need energy as well. So this helps get the nutrients and the oxygen to your cells, and it helps clean out the waste out of your cells. And I always like to tell people, think of yourself as a cell, or your cells as yourself. So you need to eat, you need to poop, and how long are you going to live without oxygen? So that's what it helps people understand it a little bit better. This gets those vitamins and those nutrients into your cells and helps get the waste out. So,
Well, so Patty and I met each other through networking groups in our senior care industry. And she's been after me for a while, even before my recent diagnosis. Boy, all of a sudden I got a tickle. Excuse me, one more roadblock. I don't think that's ever happened to me on air before. But so she was after me to try it for knee problems, for the neuropathy in my feet that I had for my cancer treatments, all things like that. So finally, I gave in to try it. And I can say that the neuropathy piece, it's definitely starting to help that. Excuse me. My foot burns a lot. And so we did the whole body, but we also concentrated on the feet and my knees and my hands. Many of you know that I've had a recent diagnosis with Parkinson's, and she does have a client who uses it for that purpose. Now that person uses it every day. I'm still testing it out. As she pointed out, it's quite expensive piece of equipment, but it's hard to put a price on your health, right? With the cost. And so I'm struggling trying to decide how I'm going to do that at the moment. But the 3 treatments a week, I've definitely seen an improvement in the neuropathy in my feet. I haven't seen enough for the mild shaking I have yet, but I think that's really the reason to do it every day. And the waste piece that she was talking about, the cleaning out, normally we don't talk about doing those things when we're on camera, but I had to run to the bathroom so frequently. It was like the second time, right? Or the third time that I did it. I really felt like it was just cleaning things out of my body. So I'm beginning to see changes from it. Wonderful. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it was, first of all, so many of my listeners, but people in general, have a health issue.
Right.
Some kind of health issue. It may be that they have sore knees or their hands with arthritis or whatever the case may be. But if you could find something this simple to help you, that can change your whole life.
And you mentioned there's vitamins and nutrients as well that you recommend. Is that it?
I don't I don't recommend those. I work with a nutritionist who does that. And that is actually part of my Eat Wellness to Wellness. I farm out and try to hook people up with all these different people that can actually help them with that. I'm not a doctor, I'm a mom. And I'm going to tell you, as a distributor of this device, I'm not allowed to talk disease. So this is not a disease specific. It is not meant for diseases. All it's meant to do is increase your blood flow and oxygen. And if you look at basically anything that's going on in your body, a lot of times it relates back to circulation. So if you can improve circulation, it's going to start improving other things in your body. So,
Okay.
I could feel that in my leg. Like when I mentioned that to you, I could literally feel that pulsing down that right leg, which has the most neuropathy.
which I'm jealous, because everybody comes in and they're telling me, oh, I felt this and I felt that. And I've never felt the energy from this mat. I literally lay on this thing and feel nothing. So just kind of crazy.
But it's helping you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I could literally sit here all day and tell you all the results that I've got on this, all the way back to, I broke my knee in 9th grade, and I used to be able to tell the weather, and I can't anymore. So that has completely disappeared. It's crazy.
That is, so this mat, how big is it?
Think of it as it's a little smaller than a twin bed. So there's 3 components to this. So there's the wellness component, there's the targeted applications, which both of those I've used on Melinda. And then there's a sleep program. So ideally you would want to have this in your bed and you sleep on it. And I put it under my mattress pad. I don't even know it's there. And it gives me 4 hours of healing every night. So
It breaks it up, right? 2 hours when you first go to bed, 2 hours before you wake up, right?
exactly. Yep.
I did a little bit of research just in general about this type of treatment. And you mentioned in the beginning about Germany that you had heard about it being used in Germany. And I just spoke to somebody recently about it. And they are a cancer patient. They have throat cancer, and it had spread into their jaw, and they were going to have part of their jaw removed in it. And they purchased this item, and it didn't cure the cancer. It's not a cure for cancer, but he didn't have to have his jaw removed. It did help.
That's awesome.
It has helped with the healing process so that he can still move on, move forward, be able to still eat food, because many times when somebody has esophageal or throat cancer, they can't eat anymore. All their food has to be liquefied.
Which,
So
how horrible.
I know. I mean, you're living, but you've lost a big piece of our life, which is food. And
Yeah.
Right.
for GI issues, it's the same thing. You know, I'm
Yep.
practicing on myself, but my son also has had GI issues now. He's had them since he was born. But if it could help him, it would be worth every penny.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing. We got trained on this, and I hate selling stuff. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But we saw so many people with so many amazing results with this that we're like, oh my gosh, we have to tell everybody. So we drove home. We had to go to Michigan to get trained for this. We drove home and made a huge list of everybody we wanted to help. So we came home though, and we were met with people with going, okay, this girl's crazy. Okay, she's getting on this mat and it's going to help her heal. So we didn't have really good luck at first. So that's why we had to keep going, and I created our business, and we opened a studio, and it's just getting people on it and getting people familiar with it and trying to get them some kind of result. And I'm going to tell you, if you can get a little result in the beginning, it's going to probably end up with a big result later. I can't make any promises, obviously, but that's just what I've seen in the years that I've been doing this.
Well, there are so many different therapies out there that we look at and we say, how can that heal us? Okay. I'm going in for a procedure tomorrow, and somebody wrote me and said, I'm doing healing energy on you. What's a good time for me to do it today? My first reaction was, really? I mean, you're on the other side of the world. Like, why? But she convinced me, and I was at work, and I said, okay, 2 o'clock, it's usually slow here. Can you do it while I'm working? She said, absolutely. Well, I don't know if she was doing it or not, but about 2:20, I just wanted to sit down and just relax. And everybody's looking at me. It's like, what is going on with her? And I didn't dare tell them. Okay. But so we look at these modalities. Okay. And I can look at this math that you're talking about and ask the same thing. Well, how can it do it? But if it does, that's the beauty of it. We got to learn and we got to listen.
Well,
Yep.
for so many years, people have talked about polarity and using that in the earth, how you sleep, how you put your bed, the head of your bed,
Right.
where should it face so that you get the best electromagnetic activity from the world, from the earth. Being out, that's why you should walk barefoot in the grass. People laugh about that, but you really need to ground yourself. You need to feel that. That's why I walk in nature. It's not just the exercise and walking, which of course is increasing circulation, but it's that attaching yourself to nature that makes a difference. And this is really just a piece of that.
Right.
Right. So
Yep.
Patty, how long do you think this has been around, been used, starting out in Germany?
It's been 20 plus years. It's German made and Swiss engineered. So it's been around, it's been tested. It's not, it's actually an FDA a cleared class 2 device now, which means nothing to me, but I guess it means something to other people. So I pretty much look at the testimonials that I've seen out of this, and nobody is going to tell me this doesn't work. So that's kind of what I go on. I know a lot of people are interested in the science and that kind of stuff, but to me, seeing is believing, and the results I've gotten, there's nothing I don't think this can do.
So are most people coming to you, they have chronic illnesses, right? Or chronic issues, chronic health concerns?
No, so we get
Excuse me.
some people. I'm going to be honest, with the acute things, you're going to notice something a lot quicker. If it's something that you've had for a while, it's going to take a while. I had people coming in, they went out shoveling and they pulled their back or they hurt their shoulder, and usually I can get a pretty quick result on that. And I'm very honest, I will tell you, it looks like you're going to be better off purchasing one of these. If you've got some little ailment that you just want to come in and see if it'll help with that, we can do that. But if you've got something that you've had for a while, it's going to take a while to heal. I mean, it's just your
Didn't
body
happen
needs
overnight.
time.
It's not going to
Yeah.
go away overnight.
Exactly.
I
So-
will say the very first time I ever tried it, we were at a meeting and my knee went out. I got up and went to the restroom and I come limping back. And at the end, she's like, just let me put this on your knee. Just let me put this on your knee for a few minutes, because I really couldn't walk. And it did allow me to be able to walk. It didn't fix the problem forever because I need knee replacement surgery, supposedly. However, that was a couple years, that was three years. It was
It
before
was a while
COVID.
ago.
It was
a while
before
ago.
COVID.
I've been
'cause we were-
bugging you a while, Melinda.
I know. So, but it was before COVID because we were at a group meeting at that point. But I haven't had any knee surgery, and I can't say that it created that much in, long-term improvement, but it couldn't have hurt, right? And I was
Right.
able to get up and walk and leave the building and get to my car, which I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do because it was so bad. So it did help something short-term.
Mhm.
So I could see if somebody pulled a muscle, like you said, if they were shoveling snow and they were sore and pulled a muscle, it might be able to help that just with one treatment or 2 treatments. I was sore the second treatment, my whole back. It felt like I had worked out actually. And then after that's when I had to keep running to the bathroom and peeing. So I really think it was cleaning things out of my body. And, when you're sore, that could have been built up stuff in your muscles.
So different too. So some people respond better to the lower intensities. Some people respond better to the higher intensities. And if we pull too much gunk out of your cells, you're going to get sore. It's like if you go to get a deep tissue massage,
Right.
you're going to get sore. You're going to get achy. You might get a head.
And she froze up again. That's technology today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like my knee.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was, so
so
maybe she'll unfreeze.
Yeah. So
ahead.
Melinda, when you had your second treatment, you said that you felt sore afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But getting all those toxins out of you. Obviously, the toxins were probably what were making you sore. And the fact that you could pee it out, that was needed.
Right. No, I agree. And I think that was definitely an important piece. It might be annoying. And so hopefully she'll come back.
Yeah.
She just popped up. But it it may have been annoying when it happened. I kept running all day. I was at work, right? But ultimately, I did attribute it to that because it didn't happen the next day, and it didn't happen the first time. It took the second time for that to happen. So each time I've had something different. Now my toes, my one toe in particular was really hit hard through chemo, and it burns like somebody puts a match underneath
Sure.
it. That has improved. And, you know, I hesitate because it's only been 6 treatments total to be telling people, oh, look what it did for my neuropathy. But facts are facts. And I've had this is my 6th year, right? I have 6 years since my last chemo is coming up in May. And I've had neuropathy since that point. In fact, it started during chemo. And it just never went away. And now look, in fact, it's gotten, even the burning, it was worse. That was worse. That has happened more so over time. So for that improvement alone, if it doesn't do anything else for me,
Right.
that was helpful.
Well, in any kind of relief that we get, in the beginning, you know, it's going to feel, you know, wonderful. After a while, we may, you know, it may settle down for a little bit,
Mhm.
but, you know, altogether, all we're looking for is a better quality of life.
Right.
And, you know, if lying on a mat can
For 8
make you feel,
minutes.
can make you
Twice a
feel
day.
better. Hey, you know, now I know cost always becomes a problem for many of us. You know, things that aren't covered by insurance or whatever. But you made a good point in the beginning when you said, you know, what is your health and life worth? Okay. And that's something that I think, you know, I've been thinking about a lot lately. In fact, funny that, you know, I'm going to compare it to this, but on my way to work on Saturday and Sunday mornings, I've been going to Starbucks to get a coffee to take into work. Somebody reminded me today how gas has doubled and
Mhm.
how much gas I'm using being in line getting that cup of coffee. And I decided today, I'm not going and getting my Starbucks coffee anymore. It's not that it was doing anything for me. Okay. But if it
Mhm.
was, I would get in that line and use up my gas. So,
And for some people, it is. So for you, it wasn't doing anything.
right.
But for somebody, that may be their one thing that day that really makes them feel good about themselves, feels good about whatever their coffee or tea might be coming from Starbucks, right?
Right.
So it's really deciding what you need. And I've been up and down financially. Everybody knows that who's followed me for a long time. And I'm, you know, even though I'm working, I still am taking care of previous medical bills, previous situations like
Sure.
that. So I'm working on it. But then this comes. And there was a point in my life where I stopped my supplements because I just couldn't afford them. Or I had to choose, which many people do today. Do I take my supplements or do I give them to my child? It's kind of, you know, whether it's supplements, whether it's food, whatever your
Sure.
healthcare is, you have to make a choice. And it's difficult because and the nice thing that Patty's done is she has created this test type situation where she has a special where you can do 3 visits and try it out. But she's always very honest. I can't tell you you're going to see a change in one visit. Now, I
Right.
did see somewhat of a change. You know, I have a spot on my shoulder right here, very sore. I could barely touch it. That's improved. So I've had improvements in things like the neuropathy, like that, the cleaning out process. I think that my body needed it, obviously. The other longer term issues, I think is going to require that I actually purchase one because it feels like you need daily use. So, I mean, Patty, you're still
Yeah,
muted.
we have to unmute you. Because it's not letting me unmute you. You have to
Can you
unmute
unmute
yourself.
Patty? There you are.
There you are.
So back to,
I'm back.
thank you for
I don't know
hopping
what
back
happened.
on. Yeah, you just froze. So that's just, we just rolled with it because that's what we do,
Great.
right? We roll with whatever those challenges are every day. And this just put that right back out there for us to remind us,
Patty,
because
you
this is our third attempt.
Yeah. So Patty, you said something about it's 2 8-minute sessions a day, but you
Right.
sleep on yours every night. So what is the difference between the 8-minute sessions and sleeping on it for 8 hours?
So they're different signals basically. So when I was telling you, there's 3 different components to this. The wellness program is what you want to get on, and that's what you want to be on twice a day. And you do, you rotate through different intensities. And then your targeted applications, you wrap, whatever's bothering you, and you target the blood flow to those. The sleep program, however, is a special patented signal. I have no idea how it works other than it goes on for 2 hours when you go to sleep, shuts off through the night, and comes on 2 hours before you get up. And I will tell you, I did not use this for the whole first year of that I was on this. I thought, you know what? I sleep good. Why do I need to sleep on this thing? And it was actually somebody who purchased it from me that said that sleep program is a game changer. And I'm like, really? So I started giving it a try, and I didn't like it the first time I slept on it. I will tell you that. And so I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to try it again. So I tried it again, and I got into this deep, deep sleep that, like, usually I wake up and hear everything around me. I didn't hear a thing. I slept through the night. I was out cold. And that actually is the reason my husband has bought one of these for both of our daughters. So they each have their own, so that they can sleep on this. So
your daughter, did she see improvement though without sleeping on it, right? With just using the targeted spot twice a day?
yes.
So tell me a little bit about your Parkinson's people, because I know that I will have people who are interested in that, and obviously I'm interested in that. So tell me a little bit about what, and I know it's what you're hearing from your clients. People have to realize that it's not a medical claim, but for people who have these types of muscle disorders, tell me about that.
I actually cannot tell you about that. I am not allowed to talk about other people's testimonials, and I'm not allowed to talk about disease. So I actually would need to hook you up with a person who is not a distributor of this, and she can tell you her testimonial herself. So
we may have to have a guest.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But I do know that she's seen improvement. And so, I can tell you what I've seen so far. And definitely, if I can figure out a way to purchase one, I would be a person talking about it myself on there, because it's so important with people who have a long-term illness to find something that gives them some form of a relief. No one's expressing a cure for this or a cure for anything. It's just relief from whatever the symptoms are.
So you said this is FDA approved, correct?
yes.
So is there a possibility, and you probably don't know this, but I'm just throwing it out there, like so many other modalities, that eventually insurance will look at it and say, hey, it's another method of wellness and we may cover it?
I hope so. I'm not privy to any of that information, so I have no idea. I'm not even going to try and guess.
Do you think does the HMA programs, the health savings programs, do they cover things like this?
I have had some people use that to purchase these and do the sessions as well. So
okay,
those have gone through. So
so that's a little bit of an answer, Karen, to your
right. Absolutely.
question.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it used to be many years ago that if you had some sort of muscle issue or bone back, issue, you could get a hot tub and it would be covered. You could
really?
get certain things, yes. And you would take it as a medical expense on your taxes, but they took all that away. So, and massage therapy equipment used to also be covered. I don't think it is anymore. I think they found a way, even though they know it works. They know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you can use an HMA program to cover it, that's very helpful.
So back in the 80s, there was for home computers, and home computers back then, they weren't like home computers today, but there was a biofeedback for the Commodore 64. And I have severe migraines, and I was going for biofeedback. And when I presented it to my insurance company back then, they paid for it because in the long run, it was cheaper than me going for biofeedback therapy. So, but I'd like to know that, that your savings plans can help with this, at least for now. And if people are using it, and I'm saying this, Patty is not, okay? But if you're using it and you like it, or you go to Patty and you find that it's something that you think is good, we've got to start mentioning it to our medical teams. Because once they know about it, because so many of us, let's talk about massage. I can go for 5 medical massages a year. 5. That's not good. That's not going to do me any good. Okay.
It needs to be at least once a week.
Yeah. So, if I can go to my doctor and, tell him what I know, and he or she can look into it, maybe enough word of mouth will make this more affordable for many of us.
I'm wondering if some of the alternative medicine clinics related to our major health centers,
Right.
like Cleveland Clinic has one, University Hospital has one, where they do acupuncture, acupressure, Reiki. They even do Reiki.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an energy thing, and they cover it sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. So, hopefully they'll be looking at this type of device. I know that things like Pilates and different treatments that I went. So I still have fibromyalgia, I guess, but I've been able to get it under control. It developed after the birth of my first son. It took them 2 years to figure out what I had. And I ended up going to a special physical therapist who did more different types of physical therapy that weren't the quote unquote average physical therapy things that they do. And that at that point was Pilates treatments and cranial sacral treatments and things like that. And it made a huge difference, but insurance wouldn't cover it because it was an alternative therapy. Now it's there's Pilates studios.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But back then, which was 25 years ago or 24 years ago, nobody was really paying attention. It was one of those weird things that, hippy dippy type things that they talked about, right?
Absolutely.
And I think some people look at it and it falls in that spectrum for them. So as you move forward, what type of other okay, so you have the challenge of not being able to talk in detail through the company.
Yes.
But what are your challenges for getting this out to people? How are you getting the word out to people? Other than like, I have you on the show.
Basically word of mouth. That's the best thing. Somebody comes in, they get a great result and they go tell somebody else. So that's been our biggest push. And we're seeing more and more people referring people over to us. I am doing talks. I created 8 different approaches to wellness, where I do these different talks. And because it's not just this device, you can't eat a bunch of garbage and sit around and just sit on this mat and think everything's going to go away. The more you can clean up the rest of your body and the rest of the things, like using healthy cleaners, if you clean with stuff that's got a bunch of chemicals and things like that in it, that's just going to set you back even further. So I've kind of tried to just educate people on different things to do to help your body, and we go from there. So those have been pretty good for me as well. So it's just educating people.
Mhm.
So
well, and I've always been one to use supplements and try to use more natural cleaners. And so I've been doing that pretty much my whole life. And even with that, look at the different health challenges I've had. So imagine if I hadn't done that, where I might not be here.
Yep.
So I think for me, using this particular therapy it's good because I've already started doing all those other things. Right. So I never smoked. I've been a fitness coach. I've been in competitive fitness. So it's not like I haven't taken care of my body. I haven't eaten, I've done many, many, many good things. Am I perfect? No. I like ice cream. So I'm going to have ice cream.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No, you're right.
But I'm a person who already lives a similar lifestyle with that. My biggest thing is work-life balance. I spend a lot of time at work, but I do eat healthy and I do a lot of other good things for myself. So I think using this now, for me, it's easy to see that this particular therapy is helping versus something else. Because when you change everything all at once, you don't really know what's helping you, do you?
Right.
We have that too. We have people, they're like, well, I'm not sure if it was this or that. And so my recommendation is don't change anything. Just change one thing at a time and then you'll know if it's working. So.
Right. So if somebody wants to give this a try, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, my phone number is 440-527-3724. And my website is 8 Minutes to Wellness, and it's .net, not .com. It's .net. So they can go on there and check us out.
And where are you located? You mentioned you have a studio. Where is it located?
Yeah, we're in Menor, Ohio. We're actually in the old Matrix building. So
it is the coolest building. Like, I want to have a party in that building. It's cool. It's brick. And I don't know, it just has a very nice, calming feel when you walk in. Don't you agree?
Yes, I totally agree. That's why I picked it. I'm always one, and my home has all the same thing. We've got, antiques and the older, I don't know. I just love that layout that we've got the old ductwork in there, and it's very calming to me. So until a train goes by, there is that, but that's still calming to me because my dad used to love trains. So
yeah, it can be. I imagine it can be a little loud. We were worried about that when we first tried to schedule this podcast because she was going to do it from work. What if a train goes by? Well,
yeah.
Look, we didn't have a
Hey.
train, but we had unstable internet. So
Always something.
And that's what we want our listeners to understand. It is a journey. Nothing is perfect. I've had a few people that every once in a while they'll contact us about a podcast and say, there was a glitch. And I'd go, yeah. And there are glitches in life. And if we could learn to accept them, I know for a long time I couldn't. Okay. And I think that's what's given me a lot of my chronic pain because I hold it all in. And I've been working with a coach who she's not teaching me, but she's reminding me of the things and how to feel things and where is it coming from and what can you do? And the first thing that you said was change one thing at a time. And that's exactly what she's been telling me. She said, you may have a list of 100 things you want to change. If you change them all at once, you'll never know what really needed to be changed. So,
And it's overwhelming. When my daughter got sick, I literally went through my cupboards and I threw all the old food out that we ate. And I do not recommend that for anybody. So.
And your
Yeah, it's
daughter's
hard to
doing
do.
fine now, right?
She's doing wonderful. So yes.
we should have her on for a testimonial.
Yeah, she probably won't do that.
If my son used this and it made a difference, I think he'd be up doing the testimonial, because when you have chronic pain and something makes a change, there's no price on that. There, you want to let everybody know
Right.
that you feel better. So I want everybody to stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. And I would potentially, if one of her
Parkinson's.
the Parkinson's individual would like to come on and talk about it, that would be awesome. Because I think we need to at least put out there options for people with chronic conditions, because
Absolutely.
you have none. Yeah, I mean, I can't say you have none, but usually they give you medications. There aren't a lot of natural approaches, and this is a natural approach. So I'd like to see that get out there to the public.
Awesome.
Well, I'm
Okay.
glad you came on, Patty. It was wonderful. And we're, again, we learned how to get through the curveballs in life. And now we can go enjoy our first day of daylight savings 2022. I'm just
Absolutely.
looking out my window and I'm just like loving seeing the sun at 5 o'clock in the evening. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I'd rather have the sun later. That's just me.
Me
I know
too.
they were talking about getting rid of daylight savings time, but I'd rather have the sun.
I
Well,
agree.
everybody-
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great day and we'll be in
Thank you.
touch.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Patty.
Bye.
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 Thanks.